folks, and welcome back. This video is all about campfire grills, grates and fire anchors. Now, although you can make a tripod out of natural materials in the woods to suspend your cooking pot from if you're cooking, or you could just put your cooking pot directly in the embers to boil water or to cook food. If you're cooking meat or fish or something like that directly over an open fire without a pan or a cooking pot to cook it in, then it's nice to have a grill to put that meat on to keep it up out of the ashes, out of the embers, and to be able to cook it and to turn it easily. It's also sometimes more convenient just to have a grill over your fire when you're cooking in pots as well, because you can rest your pots on them, you can put multiple pots on. It's a flat, stable platform, and you can move it around to adjust your heat control while you're cooking. Now, as you'd expect, if you've watched my gear videos before, I have several grills and grates, so I'm going to show you them all in turn. I'm going to break them down into kind of three categories, if you like, and just go through them, compare them, show you what I use. The first group of grills I'm going to show you are all self-supporting, so they have legs, they fold out, they have legs, they support their own platform on their own legs. I've got a clever folding design here by Bitty Big Q. I've got two from Trevor at TJM Metalworks. This one's his small folding grill, and this one's his bigger stainless steel grill. And then I've got a cheap Coghlans mini campfire grill over there. Let's start with the folding Bitty Big Q grill. You're going to have to excuse the state of my hands. It's inevitable that they're going to get covered in soot because these grills are all, well, they're all sooty. They've all been over campfires, so sorry about that. This is a really clever design. Most grills are flat, so you have to pack them flat, which often is okay because you can stuff them down the back of your rucksack or whatever. But sometimes it's convenient to have something that doesn't fold flat, and this is designed so that it folds out. It's a bit stiff because I haven't used it in a while. So you fold it out like this, and it's all hinged, and you have your cooking platform there. It then has legs which kind of wind out cleverly like this, and they're adjustable, so you can have it at full height there, or you can just have two extensions down, or you can just have the one extension down, depending on how high you want it over your fire. And then it extends, so you've got a bigger grilling platform. It's actually really stable. I've cooked big amounts of food on here. I've done barbecues at home on it. I've also had cast iron Dutch ovens resting on this, cooking roasts and things like that. So it is quite sturdy, even though it looks like the legs flex quite a bit. They do flex a bit, but to be honest, once it's sat there and it's upright, that's not too much of an issue. They wobble a little bit, but then it just settles down, and it will support a fair amount of weight. Yeah, really good design. It's all stainless steel as well, so it won't rust, which is always nice. It comes in a handy nylon storage bag, so when you're finished you can roll it up and put it away in there and pack it away, and it doesn't make everything else in your rucksack all sooty. And you also get this neat little cleaning tool which has notches out of the end, designed to go over the bars of the grill to clean off any bits of fat and burnt on food or whatever. And there are 4 of them, so it'll even do the ones in the middle there as well. Yeah, it's a really well thought out grill from Canada. Next up is the first of 2 grills I have from TJM Metalworks. This is his small campfire grill, and you have 2 legs which just slot in like this and rotate around, and then that forms your cooking platform. It's really strong. I've had heavy Dutch ovens on here. I've even had my big 14 quart Dutch oven sitting on here quite happily, and you can adjust it by just pushing the legs further down into the ground to get your height. You can also use it as a throwdown grill, so if you don't use the legs, just that in itself, you could put directly over a fire or rest between 2 logs. I'll talk about throwdown grills a bit more in a minute, but this is a great grill. I've had this for a little while, and it's had a lot of use. These are handmade by Trevor here in the UK, and he uses thick steel. His welds are amazing, and it is built to last. This will last a lifetime. I should think I'll still be cooking on this when I'm 80. Yeah, really, really good bit of kit. And then we've got the small fire grill's big brother. This is also TJM Metalworks. Same principle, the legs fold out and you can push it into the ground or have it higher up, depending on you know, how high you want it above your heat source for heat control. The bars on the grill run in the opposite direction to the other grill. They run across, and they're also closer together, which means it's better for grilling meats, really. You know, less chance of your sausages or whatever from rolling down into the fire underneath. Trevor actually made this for me when I did the canoe trip in Scotland last year. I needed something that would fit exactly in my canoe barrel, so he adjusted the size to fit. And he'll do that, you know, if you get in contact with him and you want something specific, a particular size, or, you know, even something unrelated. You know, he is a metal worker, he has a forge, this is what he does. And he can help you out, I'm sure. But this is fantastic. This is stainless steel, this one, unlike the other one, which is mild steel, so I haven't got to worry about it rusting. I'm not always the best at remembering to oil my grills. When I get back off a trip, I'll give them a quick clean and put them away in the bag, and 9 times out of 10 when I go back to use them, they've got a surface layer of rust, which is easy to clean off, but you won't have that problem with this being stainless steel. Yeah, it's a really good grill. All of his grills have bags that they store in to keep the soot at bay, and they're made by his brother David Fryers. You know, if you've been watching for a while, you'll know about him. I use a lot of his bags, and he makes bags for all of Trevor's grills, so you can have it nicely stored away in your kit, in your rucksack, without making everything all sooty and horrible. And then the last folding grill is this small one here from Coghlans. It's a folding design, but this time the legs are attached, they don't come off, so you can't use the grill as a throwdown grill. You have to use it with the legs standing up like this, which is fine. And because it has a bar along the bottom there, you can't push it down to the ground, so it's not adjustable like the other two. It's very thin gauge. I think it's just chrome plated steel. It's not stainless steel or anything. So, you know, its lifetime is going to be limited by that. And because it's such thin gauge, you can't put heavy things on it, because I think it would just fold and collapse. But if you want to cook a steak out in the woods, or you just got a small billy pan or a small frying pan, you know, this will probably do the job quite nicely. It's also very light, and it's small. It's considerably smaller than the others that I've shown you, but it doesn't come with a bag, so you'd have to source or make a bag to put it in. Otherwise, it's going to make all of your kit, you know, filthy. They're also really cheap. Next up, we have throwdown grills. So I have 4 of these to show you. Well, 3.5 really. The principle of these is simple. They're just designed to straddle across between 2 logs or a couple of rocks and form a platform that you can use that way. They're simple, they're light, there's no moving parts. They pack away, there's no legs to kind of get in the way and try and fold out while you're packing it away or anything like that. They're just a grill in its simplest form. The first one I'm going to show you is this titanium grill here from Boundless Voyage. This is quite thick gauge titanium, and it has all of these rectangles punched out of the sheet of titanium. It's not welded like it would be if it was a steel grill. They're usually, you know, a welded series of bars going across. This is one sheet of titanium with the holes punched out. I haven't had any problems with it distorting that I've noticed, but that's probably down to it being such thick gauge. So it is a little bit heavier than some other titanium grills, but you know, I think it's worth the extra bit of weight for it being that much more stable and less likely to warp. Dead simple to use, just literally chuck it on your fire. You can grill meats and stuff directly on that, stick a steak on there, that'd be fine. Or you can rest, you know, whatever you're going to be using, a kettle for boiling water or a cooking pot or a frying pan or whatever. But you can also use this in another way. If you cut a length of greenwood and then sharpen one end to a point so you can drive it into the ground, and then cut a horizontal slot in that pole, wide enough to take the grill, you can use that as a support, and then you can push it down to the ground and use it a little bit like a fire anchor, and it'll just hold it at whatever height you want, which is really good for grilling if you want to get a bit of temperature control. Obviously, you know, with it just resting across 2 logs, it's hot, and that's it, you know. It is as hot as your fire is. So that's one way of you know, adapting this to have a bit more heat control while you're cooking. These two grills here came as a set, they came together. I can't remember who they were by, but I'll put a link in the description box down below. I'll put a link to all of these grills, so if you want some more information on them, you can go down there and click on the links. Yeah, they're decent grills. The bigger one here is a similar size to that titanium one I showed you by Boundless Voyage. I've had this a lot longer. It's a good grill, it's strong, and works in exactly the same way, except that because it's welded and you've got a thicker kind of rim going around the outside, it doesn't work so well if you slide it into a notch. You have to cut a wider notch to get it into, and you have to put it in upside down so that it kind of rests in there. I mean, it is doable. It's just a lot easier with the titanium one. So that one gets quite a bit of use over the fire. This smaller one, I tend to use this in billy cans as a kind of shelf if I'm baking. So this will fit quite nicely in a 14 centimeter zebra billy can. It'll also fit in one of those Swedish Army Trangia cook sets, and just form a shelf so you can pile coals on the top and you can bake. And then finally we have this one here. You don't have to go and spend a fortune on a simple throwdown grill if you don't want anything too elaborate. This was recycled out of an old barbecue, out of an old folding barbecue. There were two of these grill plates in there, and I thought they were an ideal size to use as a camping grill, so I salvaged them. I recycled them, I saved them from the rubbish tip. Yeah, I mean, it's just a simple grill, but it does the job. You can chuck it on a fire, and you can grill your meat, or you can support a pot on it. This is actually part of my reflector oven. It's the kind of baking support shelf, but when I'm not using it in the reflector oven, I sometimes use it as a grill. While we're on throwdown grills, I mentioned earlier that both of Trevor's folding grills can also be used as a throwdown grill. So if you want to save a bit of weight on a trip, you can leave the legs at home and just take them as throwdown grills. Obviously they're a lot bigger than the ones I showed you as well, so you can get more on them. You can have more space between the logs that you're supporting it on, which is quite good. And then the last grill I'm going to show you has a category all of its own. This is the mini fire anchor from TJM Metalworks. It's dead simple to set up. You just put the two support rods together, one slides into the other, push it into the ground, and then you slide the grill down onto that rod. It's totally adjustable. You can adjust the height up and down, and you can swing that arm out of the way to take off your food, so you don't have to do it over the hot fire and burn yourself. Brilliant bit of kit. It also comes with other tools that you can slide down onto that support rod. I've got a gypsy hook for supporting a pot on there as well. So those are the grills that I use. Some of them get used more than others, and there are thousands out there to choose from. It's a real minefield, and the quality varies hugely depending on what you get, how much you spend, and where you get it from. But for me, if I'm backpacking, I'll take that lightweight titanium throwdown grill from Boundless Voyage. It's small, it's compact, it's packable, it's light, and it's big enough for anything I would need to use if I'm on a backpacking trip. Generally. It's also quite versatile. If I need a bit more temperature control, I can just cut a notch in a stick and use that method to get it a bit higher up off the heat. For everything else, I use TJM Metalworks. The quality is there. They're grills that are built to last a lifetime, and they're a joy to use. They are an art form, absolutely. But that is my choice. Everybody has their own preferences about what they need in a grill, what they look for in a grill. Those are just my choices, but hopefully you found it useful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.